Saturday Night Live. Not the Saturday Night Live, but a kind of Saturday Night Live. It's Sunday morning here for me over in Osaka. Welcome to episode 19. What I listen to. Got a great panel tonight. Fellow professionals, YouTubers, big names in the business. It's going to be a good show. Mike, good to see you.
Thanks
for coming on. Thanks for coming on. Pat, good to see you again.
Pleasure as always.
Cliff, good to see you again, my friend.
Cheers.
And I put everyone's video, like YouTube channel links in the description below. So everyone make sure you go and check out everyone's channels if you have a chance. Let me do my, what do they call it, housekeeping? Is that what we call it?
Sure.
This is my housekeeping. Jesus Christ, it matches
Nice.
my t-shirt. How did that happen? There you go. And you got to say this to the tune of Protest and Survive, right, by Discharge. Like and subscribe. There you go. The chat's open. Anyone in the chat yet? Oh, there we go. Rusty Von Hammerdown is with us. Hi, Rusty. What does he win? I don't know. What do you want? Let us know what you want. Anyone, who's Rusty? Anyone know Rusty?
I do.
There you go.
Yeah, Rusty was in he was in a band from the east coast of Canada back in the late '80s called Neighborhood Watch, who were very good.
Good band,
Oh,
yeah. Cool.
Yeah. They have a 7-inch out on a British label. So
I remember that band. Yeah. Cheers, Rusty. Good to see you.
Yep.
So as always, the chat's open. So if you've got any comments or questions, feel free. Go ahead. We've got 5 records each. It was tough, right, to pick 5?
Yes.
it was.
Yeah, always is.
It always is. Yeah, I've done it. I think I managed it. I'm looking forward to everyone's picks. As usual, no genre was specified. It's free and easy. Pick whatever you want. And that's about it. Let's get started.
Cool.
I'm going to go first, and then me, Mike, Pat, and Cliff, and then we'll go around 5 times. We'll have a good time talking about some great records. And got to say happy birthday to Mike.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Looking great for however old you are. I don't know how old you are, but
I'm 52.
there you go. I thought you were kind of around my age, my generation. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well.
All right. So usually I do my short, sharp shock to kick things off, right? I'm going to switch things up this week. I'm going to do it last this week, my short, sharp shock. No real reason. Really, I'm super excited to talk about this record. I just want to get out of the way because this is the record I've been playing all weekend. I got it on Friday. It's a brand new record. Actually, it came out last year. I thought it was brand new, but it came out at the end of last year. It's a Finnish band, not hardcore punk. But man, I've been playing this to death all weekend. What's one about this record? The plastic tones and power pop testament. I mean, the name of the band and the name of the record kind of sums it all up. And the cover looks like a bit of a Prince thing going on with the cover.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Finnish band who call themselves like DIY power pop. But I think they were. Like, this is their second album. This is like super polished record. You could almost like get rid of the power part of this and just call it like the pop testament because it's almost a pop record. Okay. Female vocalist who does solo stuff under the name of Ty Roxy. She does like disco stuff and new wave. And the thing that I didn't know about this band is Ville or Vivi from Forcine and Pericato and Koti Tuhoha and the other band I can't pronounce was in this band.
Oh, no
which
shit.
kind of blew my... Yeah, he plays on like the singles and the first LP, but he's not on this record. But he kind of produced it and mixed it. It's like this huge like 80s kind of style production on it. So yeah, it's really catchy, super catchy, like power pop record. Except they do this thing, and I don't know why they do this, but it works really well. They kind of put like Japanese like city pop stuff in there. Which city pop is like, you know, Japanese pop music from the 70s and 80s, like super catchy AOR, like funky, and they put all those like city pop influences in with like power pop. So it's kind of a unique sounding record. It's great. Yeah.
What label's that on?
Good question, Mike. This is another interesting part of the equation. It's on Vox Populi. And ring a bell?
Oh,
Japanese label run by the singer of Schizophrenia. So it's on a hardcore punk label.
interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's a Japanese
Very
person.
interesting choice.
I mean, honestly, I've been playing this. I got it on Friday at Punk and Destroy. Just been playing it the whole weekend. Super enjoyable record. I think this is kind of a Stephen Mangione kind of a record. I think he would dig this. It's kind of,
Okay.
synth pop, but really like not dark. It's super upbeat, and you could like dance under a glitter ball in shocking pink lycra to this record, which is what I've been doing all weekend at home.
I do that to all
Crazy as I
music.
blame.
But the thing is about this record, I was talking about city pop. People are like, what the hell is city pop? I think they might, this band might have even got their name from this record. I'm going to show it because I don't have the record. You guys on this one?
Okay.
Maria Takuchi, Plastic Love. It's just like this old like pop song from the 80s that kind of got like a second wind. This record is like a bonza now on the used market. So I'm just wondering, like, if they, if this band took their name from, Plastic Love, Plastic Tones. I don't know. Either way, great record. There you go. That's my first pick.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm up.
There you go, Mike. Off you go.
First one I got comes to us 1984, courtesy of Sacramento, California.
Whoa.
Pretty hard to find record. Every time I've shown it on my channel or on Instagram or something, people always freak out because they've never known anyone that had a copy, which is kind of absurd, but it's Tales of Terror.
Oh, nice.
Self-titled.
Okay.
It's on CD Presents. Super good band. I've been listening to them a ton lately. It's for me, I always heard of this band before I actually heard them because a girl moved here from California when I was in high school, and she had all these flyers, and every show had Tales of Terror. So I figured they had to be good, or just they must pester promoters a lot. But fundamentally, this to me, it's kind of like TSOL, where it's like definitely a 80s California punk with like a kind of a goth overtone to it. But you can hear all of their peers from that time in it as well. Like you can hear Circle Jerks in it. You can hear like Aggression. You can hear Black Flag and all that. But they mesh it together so perfectly that, it's just it's dark, but and musically they're kind of like their musicianship is, I feel, above a lot of their peers of the time. Like they're just much better at playing. They opened the record with Hound Dog, which is a weird choice, like a cover to open the record. Kind of like that Ethel the Frog record we were talking about. It's just an odd thing to do, but it's all really good. And then they ended in like 1986 because their guitar player Leon Wong was killed because he got in an argument with some jocks or something, and he ended up getting thrown to the ground. He hit his head on a speed bump and died from it.
Oh man.
Yeah, but he was the son of Victor Wong, who was the actor that played Egg Shen in Big Trouble in Little China, and he was in Prince of Darkness and Tremors and shit. But and when he died, the band just caved. But this is a banging LP. It's never got a reissue as far as I know, and it probably should have one. More people would really like it, I think.
Yeah,
but, it's a hard one to find. Yeah, it's great.
What label was that on again?
CD Presents.
CD Presents.
Okay. I for some reason always just like imagined it to be on like Mystic or have something to do with alchemy or like one of those kind of labels.
Well, I mean, it's kind of in that style, really.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough. I found it at a tiny little record store in Welland, Ontario, which is like the armpit of Canada, and it was in there for like basically nothing. And yeah, so I grabbed it, and I've always held on to it. And I've been listening to it a lot lately. It's a great record.
Those are always great finds when you find awesome stuff that's super cheap at like a record store that doesn't know what it is. Really, they're like the best.
Yeah. This guy was more focused on Beatles and like 60s rock and stuff. He didn't give a shit about punk stuff. I grabbed a whole bunch of good stuff there.
I always like associate them with Fang for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they used to play together back in the day.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, like every single flyer this girl had Tales of Terror, and I always saw their name in like Thrasher Mag, and you'd see reproductions of flyers. They were always on it. You'd see tons of graffiti that said Tales of Terror. So I figured that they were like the greatest band that I'd never heard of, and maybe not that, but they're pretty damn good.
It's a good record.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Score.
Scoot said he just sold a copy of that Tales of Terror. There you go. Oh, hey, and then it got reissued for Record Store Day, apparently.
Oh, sweet.
2 or 3.
Okay. I thought I'd seen something about it recently. Kind of popped up, but it's a pretty iconic looking cover. There's not too many covers that look like that. I think I always mistook it for like a crossover record back in the day, like when I'd see ads for it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I always think of like COC, like Fang, Condemned to Death. I don't know why I associate all those bands together, but
all right. So all
right. What's
get this one? This is an international band, Inferno, Personale, in era Veritas, international band on Symphony of Destruction out of France. And there's a couple of, I feel like, international projects that have been put out on the label that are all really good. It's kind of crusty, noisy sort of stuff. Members are from, I can't remember, but I have it pulled up right here. Members are from, they're based in Bremen, Germany.
All right.
And let's see, they're out of, why am I not seeing it? Italy, I think. Italy, Colombia, Germany, and Argentina.
Oh, wow.
So it was like recorded in Germany and mastered in Japan. Like it's all over the globe, but it's extremely noisy. I wouldn't say it's like straight up Crasher Crust or anything like that. It's got a lot of good like songwriting. There's a varying tempos on it. It's certainly influenced by like a lot of noisy international hardcore, but there's something really cohesive and catchy about it. It's just hard enough on the ears to satisfy people that are into noisy shit. But for people like me that need a little bit more to hold on to, like it's right there. Really, really good hardcore.
Wretched vibes going on with that cover.
Yeah, with the cover for sure.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I mean, you could say they're an influence, but it's not like Wretched Worship or anything like that. Yeah, it definitely looks like a Wretched record for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was a Wretched record for sure at first. It sounds interesting. It's from all over the place. All good places to get hardcore from.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, but that Symphony of Destruction label, I got like a clutch of 7 inches, like 4 or 5 7-inches from them last year. I just went on a Bandcamp tear and just like bought a bunch of their stuff. And I think it's Abiecta. It might be Abiecta. It might be another band. There's another band that's the same kind of deal. It's, I think, again, like all a bunch of people in Germany from all over the place that kind of settled there and are doing like they're all like kind of crusty bands, but they're all quality. They all have like really good songs. So big ups on that label. I like what they do a lot.
Yeah, there seems to be quite a few bands that do that. They just base themselves in Germany. Like the Idiota Civilizado, Diot, and all that stuff.
Yeah, the Sistema record.
Yeah,
that is really good too.
Huh.
Nice. That's pretty new, right? Just came out.
Yeah, it came out late 2022. I think it came out in December.
Cool.
I'll have to check that one out.
Absolutely. Yeah, as long as it's like you said, if there's some melody and stuff in there, I'm all in.
Yeah, it's there's riffs. There's real ass riffs. That's the thing you need.
Yeah, when shit gets too noisy, I kind of like. I like noisy stuff, but like I can only listen to it so much, and then when it gets too noisy, I kind of tune out.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Shout out to Bombardment.
Yeah, Bombardment's great too.
Yeah.
Best in the game.
Seems like a universally loved band, Bombardment.
Absolutely.
I still have to get their full length. I don't have that yet.
The one from last year?
Yeah, I have to find it.
So
I really
good.
want it.
So good.
So, yeah. They knocked it
But
out.
I can't find it anywhere. I think I'm a sucker. I live in Baltimore, so I go to Tony's record shop all the time because I'm a punk guy, and he has the best punk selection in Baltimore for sure. But that's like I'm there like once a month where I just buy a bunch of stuff. So speaking of that, I can go into the next pick for that. One I found at his shop. And it's also another noisy hardcore record. I picked up this Ferocious X record from Celebrated Summer. Great noisy hardcore. It's like the way I think of it is like Disclose playing Finnish hardcore. Pretty much is how my brain wraps around this thing. But yeah, this was really good stuff. And I've wanted it for a while, and I just everywhere sold out of it before I decided to buy it. Cause I'm cheap. And when a new record comes out, I like always like try to wait until like somebody's selling it used. And I don't think I paid $15 for this. And it's still like, that's still not terribly cheap, but it's not bad. But yeah, Ferocious X, they're just Japanese hardcore playing Finnish. Japanese guys playing Finnish noisy ass hardcore, and yeah, that was one of my backup picks actually, and it just led into it. So
they're a local band from here in Osaka. I've seen them live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen them live like so many times.
That's
but
awesome.
They're kind of like considered like they're kind of like a little bit of a generation under. They're like, but they're not now. Like at the time, they're like at the new kids on the block kind of thing at the time.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that live. We're thinking like kind of frampted levels of intensity. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
They're kind of similar to frampted. The Japanese crusties doing like Finnish influenced hardcore. They got their own thing going on.
All their song titles, they have like a bunch of Finnish song titles, and like the album name is Finnish, so I'm like, it's an interesting choice. And then there's like Swedish bands that do Japanese style hardcore, and like it's all over the place. But that's a good record.
Got one of those coming up.
Nice.
Not to spoil anything.
All right. That was a pretty good first round. Mike, I was watching one of your videos the other day. It was like a VC, like a tag thing maybe. And it's like, the first thing you had to do was like show an African record, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was from a few weeks ago. And I was like, I'm going to steal that idea because I just got an African record. And I love this guy, and he hasn't put out a record for a while. And he's got a brand new album out. I was like super excited because I love this guy. All the way from Ghana. The King. Not Elvis, but King Ayisoba. All the way from Ghana, and his brand new album out on Glitterbeat. Anybody familiar with this guy?
Oh.
Can't say that.
No, but I think I want to be.
I mean, contemporary artist. Okay, this record was like, I mentioned this before, but like, what's his name? The guy from the X, Arnold de Boer from the like Dutch anarcho-punk band, is getting himself involved with a lot of African artists, and he's all over this record. Like, he helped mix it and produced a little bit of, I think. And so like he's kind of in with this kind of scene, if you want to. So it's kind of interesting. But like this guy, he's got a bunch of records. I'll quickly show him because I want to put a spotlight on him a little bit. This is one of his older records, Wicked Leaders. Another one, Modern Ghanaians. This is a good pick. This is like the instrument he plays. It's the korogo. It's basically two strings. It's a two-stringed instrument, pretty basic kind of thing. And he's kind of a master of the instrument. This is his record from last year. So I was super excited. He's got a brand new record out. Work hard. It's like, how to describe it? So it's like he's got this two-stringed instrument, which is made out of goat's skin and like a stick, basically, which he kind of plays. He's got this like super fierce, rough, hoarse singing style, which is, I'm not going to say it's almost punky, but it's super aggressive, super lively. And then it's like this mix of like traditional African instruments and then like modern stuff on top of it. So it's like electronica and like modern hip hop from Ghana. And it's even like a bit of psychedelia in here, some like vocal effects that make it sound like Parliament. There's a lot going on. So it's like super upbeat, energetic, fiery
What
music.
does that instrument sound like? The goat skin
I
instrument.
knew someone was going to ask me that, and it's like I can't really make the sound, but you know, it's like what does a guitar sound like? You just have to go and listen to the record.
Is it like a ukulele kind of?
That was going to be my question.
It's more. I mean, if you had remember Pete Larson, my friend Pete came on, and he plays like the kind of Kenyan equivalent, which is the Niatiti.
Okay.
It's in that ballpark.
So it sounds like that thing that he plays.
Yes,
along the same line.
Exactly.
I'd be into that. That'd be cool.
I'm
like
literally going to look this up like 5
instrument.
seconds after we're done the stream.
I mean,
yeah.
I was going to suggest everyone, because his Bandcamp page is super cool. Like, he goes into detail about the meanings of every song on it and everything, which is also pretty cool because they're kind of political lyrics as well. This is just some great new music out of Ghana. Yeah, I got this weird pressing. It's like a fake Japanese pressing. It's on Glitterbeat, which kind of Glitterbeat is like an offshoot of Glitter Best. It's like a German label. They used to put a lot of hardcore punk back in the day. But this is like one of those things where it's the Dutch pressing, but they just like put an obi on it and are kind of like selling it as a Japanese pressing on Rice Records. But shouldn't be hard to get. You can check it out on Bandcamp. I love this guy.
I'd be interested in that. I don't know enough. I don't know enough about that stuff. I need to know more about it, but
yeah,
I just like the fact that it's like contemporary. You know, it's happening now. It's not like something from the 70s or 80s. One of my favorite records from this year so far, King Ayisoba. Work Hard.
That's cool.
That's A-Y. Okay. That's why I couldn't find it on Bandcamp. I'm typing in the wrong thing.
Check it out after the show. Yeah, that's my second pick for the day.
All right, my second pick, something completely different. It's on Ebullition.
Oh,
it's a band from Norway. Life, but how to live it.
Nice.
This is basically just a compilation of their 2 singles and a comp track. But this band fucking rules. Like, I mean, to kind of dumb it down, I would say like a female-fronted kind of punk band like the Gits, if they were, you know, mixed with Rush. It's just so weird. The main guys for this band, they're brothers. They were both in that band in the 80s, Barnav Renbuen from Oslo, who were just a great 80s hardcore band, kind of like Funeral Oration in their more kind of ramshackle moments, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
But they went on to be in this, and they've been in Captain Not Responsible. They're always in, like, my old band played with them when they were in a band called Drunk, who were stupid name but a fantastic band. Now they're in Danger Man, but the guy's my favorite guitar player in punk, probably. He's just so creative. Yeah, he's just so creative, and it's just so unorthodox and weird. But I love everything this band put out. But the 2 singles are probably my favorites. I know the singer Katya. Her father is kind of a big muckety muck in radio in Norway.
Didn't know.
But obviously they didn't get any big special treatment because of it. But cool trivia tidbit. But yeah, they're just so weird. There's kind of an odd kind of a folky undertone to all their stuff, but the musicianship behind this band is great. And you know, they've got a little bit of recognition, but I don't feel enough because I just feel this is a really, really good band, but probably one of another winner from Ebullition, I guess. Yeah.
I love that record. I love that band. It's one of those bands that doesn't really make sense. Maybe the first or second or third time you hear it, because the melodies are really like off kilter and unorthodox. Yeah. But after a while, you're like, oh God, this is complete genius, and like the hooks and melodies really sticking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played with him, and I picked that guy's head, and he was just like, looking at, because I mean, how does some guy in small town Canada know anything about Barnev Renbuen, right? It's because I had the records, but then they stayed at my house and he was like, okay,
Nice.
I get it now. But yeah, super nice people. And I just kind of almost fanboy. I felt weird, but I was just like, shit, got the guy from Barnev Renbuen here. So yeah, but yeah, nice people, great band.
It's great.
Evolution was good with that off kilter stuff. As a
Yeah, they're
label.
kind of known for it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of rediscovering a lot of their catalog because I've been ordering stuff for them for my distro, and I keep getting reacquainted with all these bands that I kind of hadn't thought about for a long time. And there's definitely a lot of good stuff that came out on that label for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely one. It's a label where like it's one of those labels where they put out a ton of stuff where you're like you said, you don't think about it, but it's all really, really good. They put out all the Iconoclast stuff, and I love that stuff. That's some of my favorite stuff.
No,
Yeah, one of my top tier bands of that ilk from the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
That's Bremen.
I just think that is
a couple of members of Iconoclast ended up like moving to Bremen and like forming a bunch of other bands and stuff, which should be mentioned on this show as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard a couple of those guys moved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about Bremen, man. I don't know.
I used to go there a lot when I lived in the UK. There's like a bit of a connection between the town where I'm from and Bremen and Oakland. In fact, there's this Bath, Oakland, Bremen thing. And there's a festival called Bob, B-O-B, which they're still doing, I think. And so they'll change the location every year. One year it'll be in Oakland, and it'll be in Bremen, and it'll be in Bath. And bands from like each city
heard about that.
travel over. It's kind of a little bit insular, but it's like basically people from Bath, Oakland, and Bremen.
That's rad. I mean, I know of Bremen because of that weird. I wouldn't say use the term metalcore, but that like kind of like weird, crazy, like chaotic metal played by clean cut hardcore dudes like Axxe and Morser and all that, Y and all that stuff. Bremen had like a really great scene for a really singular approach to aggressive music in the late 90s. So that's what always pops into my head for Bremen. But Axxe especially, holy shit. So good.
I like that Life How to Live It record because it's like it is a little bit out there, but not too out there. It's like just right in the pocket. It's like it's not like Alice Donut or No Means No or like something like that. It's like
Steel Pole Bathtub.
It's still like melodic punk, but with that crazy guitar playing over it. Great band.
Somebody's winning on eBay.
Yeah.
Oh, just ordered his copy of.
Sorry, I might be losing on eBay. You never know. They make the same sound either way.
The King Ayisoba album. He's just
just
it right.
I'm gonna try and turn it off.
All right, Pat. What's your next?
I just got this today, and I just spun it once. It's great.
There you go. Fresh.
People's Temple. I'm with the People's Temple on Roach Leg out of New York. Nice. I tried doing a quick search to see where these folks are from. Came up dry. I think they're American. Not entirely sure. I listened to the tape a couple of days ago. Gave that a bunch of spins. It's really good. There's not to say that there aren't bands doing this kind of approach to American style hardcore, but I feel like the Pittsburgh bands and the Canadian bands, it tends to be more in the kind of the sphere of like Boston and Detroit, Negative Approach, Negative Effects kind of stuff a lot of the time. And that's great. Like I cannot get enough of that kind of shit. But this is like, again, like a little bit of melody involved. It seems a little bit more like very early 80s California and Midwest, maybe. I don't know. Like it's not new revamping early 80s hardcore. I mean, look at the past 20 years, like Grave Mistake and it's, all that stuff. But these guys really do it well. Like there's something in the recording quality that they just hit perfectly. And Transplant from Orange County, California plays guitar in that band Gun. Okay, cool. Wow. I haven't heard Gun yet. I know who they are. But yeah, I mean, dude sounds like he's from Orange County. Like it's perfect. There's a song, the last song on there is American Hardcore Sucks. It's one of the songs on there. So I feel like that's kind of emblematic of them being self-aware of what they're doing. And they do it really, really well. I mean, it's just killer hardcore. It's the perfect 45. It's a 45 RPM, 8-song, 7-inch. Like
Nice.
that's you can't fuck with that. You know what I mean? So yeah, great record.
Perfect.
Fast and brutal, just what you want for your hardcore stuff, right?
Yeah, but with the snottiness though, you know, like if you like that early LA stuff, it's got you know, like that kind of vibe. Good.
Yeah.
Some
I like
teenage angst from not teenagers, probably.
Probably not.
But, you know, Roach Lake, good label.
Great label.
They are.
Great
They put
label.
out that Poison Idea. They put out that Poison Idea, Poison Ruin 7-inch. That's really good too.
It's getting repressed.
Yeah,
this
it
week,
is
next week.
soon. I got lucky. I bought their last copy. I was in Germany at the time, and I was like, they posted it. I was like, oh, I'm buying this right now. So while I was in Germany record shopping, I bought a record from the United States.
Didn't Poison Ruin just get like signed to Relapse Records or something?
Yes,
like that? They did.
Yeah,
they're putting out a new record on
All right.
Relapse this year. Soon. In
I
like
saw
the
them
next
live a couple of
month
months
or
ago.
so.
They were great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome live.
I need to catch them. Did they do the synthy stuff live, like the kind of dungeon synthy type of shit?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, they were good. They played with Public Acid and Shit and a bunch of other bands.
Oh, all right, there you go.
Public Acid. Both of those bands are great.
Yeah, that ties
one
in
of
with
the
that
guys-
Wallpaper, right? Similar kind of stuff. Yeah.
I saw that you posted that you were going to that show, and I was like, I'm jealous. I want to go to that show.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's the first time I've seen Shit play in a few years because their singer lives in the UK now, so they don't play here as much as they used to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Nice. All right, Clifford, what's your second pick of the day?
Pat mentioned Great Mistake, and they did like a $5 LP sale like last month. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and
that's right.
one of the records I picked up was one that I've been meaning to pick up for a really long time, and like it's just one of those that I've like seen around, and like I always find something else that I'm like, I'll find this again. I'm gonna get this one because it's gonna be harder to find later. But I finally picked it up because it was the right price. Direct Control Farewell. Yeah, excellent band.
Not a bad record. For
US
that band.
band, super fast, short songs. Again, they have like that snotty 80s hardcore feel to them through all their stuff. And this was really cool because like certain songs, I can't remember what song it was, but certain songs have like cool, like kind of like almost psychedelic dirges on this album. So like really cool band. They're really talented in what they do too. Like really good music. You can tell that these guys like know how to play their instruments. They're not just playing fast to play fast, and then it kind of.
Did you ever see them live?
Really tight. I have not ever got to see them live, but I'm really upset because like they're right in that time frame where I would have been going to a ton of live shows, and they just never really played Philly when I would have went when I could go.
I saw them when it was still like Brandon and Ryan from Municipal Waste was playing, I want to say guitar, and then like I think the original drummer. So they were like a 3-piece. I saw them with Suppression before they recorded anything. And then Government Warning started around the same time, and both bands kind of shared members and stuff. And they're like, I'd seen both a bunch of times, and like what a great era to witness. Like both of those bands were so good for sure. Like, R.I.P. Brandon, by the way.
I was playing that Government Warning record last night because I don't know if you remember, like Scoots did an impromptu like design Analog Attack logo, which I wasn't expecting, and he did the artwork right for the Government Warning record.
Yeah, that logo looks.
I don't know if anyone. It's great. I was like, Jesus, like thanks. It was just totally unexpected. It's amazing. I'm really grateful. Did you just hear the doorbell go? Anybody?
I didn't
That
hear
was like the prototype of the T-shirt, Analog Attack T-shirt, was just trying to be delivered right now, and I didn't answer the door. But I should have got the door and just
threw it on.
Put it on. Yeah.
On a similar note, I'm just gonna go check on my kid real quick. I heard some yelling. I'll be right back.
All right.
Continue on without me. I'll be back in a moment.
See you in a minute.
But yeah, Direct Control, I've got their 7 inches. I haven't bought any of their LPs yet, but I think that's like my new goal for the year is to get all the Direct Control stuff. Because after I listened to this, I was like, reminded myself why I liked that band so much.
It's great. How many?
I think that record there's. Oh, I was going to say, I think that record you just showed is the only one that I don't have by them, but I should get it.
I have that one and another one, but one of them might be a collection of singles. I'm not sure. I'm just putting it out there. But
they did release a collection of singles, so it might be a collection of their singles. But I have the 2 singles, so I like refuse to buy the. It's like one of those things where I'm like, the weird collector in me is like, I already have these 2. I don't need to buy the collection because I already have these 2. You know what I mean? And if I have a collection of singles, I'm like, I already have the collection. I don't need to buy all the singles.
Yeah.
It's just
that's what I was like with that Elay set suit.
Yeah. I like the big format though. At my age, I don't want to get up every 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Yeah.
Understandable.
The other for me.
You wait. You wait till you get some
I
money.
just bought a collection of all the Dahmer stuff from Pat like yesterday. From his distro. I just bought all the Dahmer. I don't know what it is, but I think it's all the Dahmer singles. I just bought it from his distro yesterday. So
Nice.
Yeah, that just came out. Yeah.
Awesome. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I don't have any of the Dahmer stuff, and I really like them. I'm just going to buy it.
Cool. Oh, it's my turn.
It is your turn.
Let's just have another little sip of beer, shall we, before we start round 3.
I got to open a new one.
Oh, Rusty says your Cliff's t-shirt reminds you of the Vault Cortex records, because it is Cortex records, right? But they were. That's a German shop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went there this summer because
I went there like in like 1989 or 90 or something like that. Yeah.
I think they started in like 19. I think it might. No, it doesn't say it on the shirt, but it was like 1988 or something like that.
Yeah, I went there just not long after it opened. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Jason's here. Pam's here. Cheers, everyone. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in,
Jason.
Just in time for round 3. There we go. Mike, you might remember how this whole thing unfolded, maybe, because it kind of unfolded when the internet was coming about. I'm talking Japanese hardcore record I'm going to talk about right now. But it was one.
Never heard of it.
Wow, that's the thing. Nobody had ever heard of it at that time. Even me, and I'd been to Japan like 3 times, and then I moved here in like 2002, whatever, and then I was kind of out of the loop, and I was like, what's going on with Japanese hardcore, blah, 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 blah. And then one day I was in like a store, and I found this CD, and I bought it. And I kind of started talking about it on like message boards and SoulSeek, and everyone was super excited about it. Can you guess what it is?
I think I know what it is.
All right, we'll see if you're right. Hold that thought. So it came out originally in 1992 on CD only on Slice Records. There's a bit of a hint if you're into your Japanese hardcore. And it got reissued on a French label run by friends of ours, a French label called Kick Rock Records. And Kick Rock Records took their name from this record, Kick Rock by Poison, the old like Japanese hardcore band. It's on Selfish Records. It's one of my favorite Japanese hardcore records of all time, which is kind of a controversial opinion, but I love it. But I'm not talking about this record. I'm talking about this thing. Yoshihiro, Hiraoka, and Human Arts.
Yeah, that's not the one I thought it was, but
all right. What were you thinking of, Mike?
I thought you were going to hit me with like Technocracy, Price of Killing Machine, or something like that. But then no, that's totally different.
But like hear me out here. Listen, so the lineup of this
Deeper than my
band,
Japanese hardcore knowledge.
this is like top 10 Japanese hardcore record of all time, in my opinion. It's a super group. And when you hear the lineup of this, you'll be like, Jesus Christ. So let's start with the drummer. The drummer is this guy called Ayisoba, who played in Mess. I used to think it was Koba from Bastard because his drumming sounds exactly like Koba from Bastard and Systematic Death on this record. But it's not him. It's this guy Ayisoba. The bassist is Minoru from Lip Cream. The singer is the man himself, Yoshihiro from Poison. And the guitar player is Chelsea from Death Side and Paintbox. So what you get here is that caliber of absolutely incredible musicianship, incredible songs. Death Side, Paintbox, Poison, all those like big bands that we all love. This is like right up there. It's an absolute classic. And if you haven't checked this record out, check it out as soon as you can because it's amazing.
I'm on that one.
If you like Death Side, you like Paintbox, you like Japanese hardcore, check it out.
Yeah,
it's still out there because it got reissued on vinyl once, and I think they repressed it. Okay. So I think it's still out there. But yeah, Yoshihiro, Hiraoka, and the Human Arts.
That's the record that just has all the guys. All of them are on there.
I mean, Jesus Christ! I mean, it's some of Chelsea's best work too. Like some of the stuff he does on this record. It's a mind blower. Like everyone like couldn't believe it when they heard this because it's like, how do we miss this? It's like top tier Japanese hardcore.
When did that one come out?
Originally 1992, which was a tough time because Japanese hardcore, the traditional sense, was kind of like in a weird spot. So it kind of went overlooked a little bit. But
yeah, I was in grade school in 1992. So
I mean, even like our generation, like Mike, we were kind of late to the game with this, and so I'm thinking maybe there's a lot of people younger than us who haven't got to this yet. So honestly, check this out; it's absolutely incredible.
All right,
there you go.
Yeah, good pick.
This is a weird thing. I'm just going to show this because I got sent the rejected test pressing, like 1 out of 6.
Cool.
From the label. It just plays. I think the B side plays like one song like over and over again. So obviously they rejected it, but there you go.
Huh.
Cool.
Japanese hardcore classic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's me.
Yes, there you go, Mike.
All right. This is going to be the most recent release out of all that I'm going to show. It's on Iron Lung Records.
Oh.
Came out at the end of last year. Canadian band. Mutated Void.
Great record.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's the Roses Forever 12-inch. I've been just making my neighbors hate me because this stuff here, this is total like turn that shit down music completely, right? Yep. And it's kind of like if I was to pick another band that it's another recent band that it kind of reminds me of, it would be something like Blazing Eye. Like it's really noisy, and it kind of borders on like, budget black metal, like something you'd find from some tiny little South American country or whatever. But it's almost grindcore at times too. It's very simple, but the vocals are insane. And it's like, I mean, I don't want to have any kind of a theological or parapsychological argument, but let's just say for the sake of argument that demonic possession was a real thing. The vocalist sounds like he's demonically possessed and they've thrown him down a fucking well, and that's where he's doing vocals from. He's like screaming that he wants a lozenge or something, but it's just like it's its own layer of noise. It's a two-piece too. It's Cody, who does like Bougie Boys and Misanthropic Minds and shit, and this other guy, I think his name's Ben. He's in like Fragment and Abject Pax and stuff like that. The record's dedicated to Rosie Davis, who passed away in like 2020, and she had a huge friend base in the punk community here and all over. I didn't know her personally, but a lot of people I know did, and they were completely gutted over the fact that she passed away.
A narco punk band. The name is escaping me right now.
Cry Out.
That record's Cry Out.
That's
yeah. And she was in Vixens and Abject Pax with the drummer of this band.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a great record. The 7-inch that came out just before it on Suicide Slash the Altar, it's great as well. But yeah, this is a no nonsense record. I can listen to it over and over again. It makes my cats fight each other, so I get entertained twice. It's fantastic.
And it's like a
twofer.
It's a good solid like 17-minute LP, right? Like
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, but it seems like it goes by in the blink of an eye, just because it's just constant, but it doesn't get boring at all. But it's mostly breakneck. It almost never relents on speed. Once in a while, a little bit, but once in a while you get a little like almost like a skate punk thing, and it's just it comes out of nowhere, but it still fits.
Like JFA or something.
Yeah, like I mean, you could actually picture people, skating in a pool or something, and then they go right back into, demonic winds of death screaming at you for a lozenge.
It's a good record if your pets go into their like primal state when they're listening to it.
Yeah. This absolutely. I have videos of my cats freaking out over this shit. So so it gets played a lot because. Yeah, they love it. So yeah, but Mutated Void, that's my choice.
That's one I missed on Iron Lung, so that's a good recommendation.
Iron Lung
definitely get it if you can. Yeah. Sorry,
Iron Lung has been cranking out so much good stuff lately, and like I feel like that one might have gotten a little bit glossed over just because Jensen's just like cranking out so many bands.
Yeah,
the Speed Plans record is really good, and of course the two recent. The Brain Tourniquet and Wound Man records are also
I think Iron Lung just puts out so much great, like really good stuff that it really does. Like some of their records, like if you don't let some of the records go to the wayside, you kind of only buy Iron Lung records. I think it's like one of those kind of labels.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's very consistent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so. Mine, and I almost picked another Iron. I actually almost grabbed the Wound Man, but I was like, I feel like people might also be talking about it or whatever, so I didn't. But I've been meaning to grab. I'm really, really happy there. I'm a CD guy sometimes, and I really appreciate a good discography CD if the band was consistent and they had really good releases.
Sure.
Just a full ass CD that's like 80 minutes long. Full of good shit, and that's what this is. This is the Syphilitic Vaginas complete recordings. Speaking of Swedish bands, I believe Swedish, worshiping Japan, a lot of nods to Blazing Spirit stuff, and as well as a lot of other kind of influences from the realms of punk and metal. Very, very, I can't believe how well, like, these guys can play their asses off. Very, very adept musicians, super catchy, great riffs. I've been aware of them and kind of listening to them off and on. I haven't owned any of their vinyl really ever. It's always a band that I just kind of like dipped in and
on vinyl too.
Yeah,
did they?
Out on vinyl. Nuclear War Now put that out on vinyl.
Yeah.
Okay, that's no surprise. That makes sense. But yeah, so I think a band like most people know that are in the know about. Type of music that a lot of us are into, but man, do they write a good song? That's usually what I'm looking for. So
yeah, that's like one of those compilation LPs you can listen to all the way through and not get bored and not get like, okay, I've had enough of this. Like you can listen to their music all the way through because they are varied enough and they mix all the good crustiness and like that black metal feel, like Venom black metal the whole way through. That band's awesome.
Oh, for sure. I'd argue that they take as much from Japanese metal as they do hardcore.
Yeah.
Like you can hear Sabbath in there and like metal and like.
Oh, you definitely can. Yeah. I thought they were Japanese for years. And
I think a lot of people did.
I think I did a YouTube video and somebody corrected me. So
I think it was kind of kayfabe for a while.
That's Swedish, right?
I wanted to double check so I didn't make sure I didn't sound like an idiot. I looked up Metal Archives. It says suspected to be from Sweden or Germany. I'm like, that's fine.
I'm kind of going back in the memory banks here. I think it might be a one-man band.
Very likely. Bands like this often are.
And I think the guy that did that band also did like Netahev SS. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pulling this out of the air right now. Just let us know in the comments. I think it might be the same guy. I could be wrong.
There's like that fine tradition of like Swedes and other people, like the whole kind of like phenomenon with like Forza Macabra or whatever, doing the total
Brazilian.
worship of like Brazilian hardcore, and it's like that kind of style stuff. Blood Spit Knights from the US.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. That's a great record, man. Like that's one that I bought that from Celebrated Summer. I walked in the door and I was like gonna like look through some stuff, and they had that on like their shelf, and I was like, I'm just grabbing that, and then I left. I didn't even do anything. I just grabbed it, bought that, and left the store because I was like, I'm not buying anything else. This is all I want.
Yep. Worthy purchase.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great record.
Nice. They have a lot of like really limited edition, like Japan only things on crazy splattered vinyl with like the OBs and like.
Okay.
On that, was it Superstar Heavy Metal Superstar label or whatever it's called?
Actually, I have the record right here. I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah, they kind of had like the same sort of thing going on with that Midnight had before Midnight started making albums. There's like all these limited mini LPs and like 12-inch singles and stuff like that,
like
or
that,
whatever, like these like completely unnecessary
etching on the B side.
right.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
The vinyl version came with oak and everything. Like they really did this. They did it up really well. So that's. I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way here.
Nice.
But yeah, it's the complete studio collection, and this was put out by Nuclear War Now.
Yeah.
They did like a weird pink they did a pink version, and then they did like a regular black version too in the US. I don't know what they did in other countries. But yeah.
If we only got away with 2 versions from that label, we're
go politely.
Which one comes with a beer mat and the flag?
Yeah, seriously. I have like 4 posters they sent me, and I'm like, I'm never gonna hang these up, but they're here.
No.
I've got them.
Never gonna hang you up. Anyway, all right. What you got, Clifford?
All right, Clifford. All right. What's your next pick of the day?
I'm going a completely different route. I'm going with my like recent like thrift store and dollar bin like obsession. Nice. So, but it's like it's like jazz rock fusion stuff. Al Di Melita. Or Al Di Melita. Great guitar player. I accidentally stumbled on this guy because I got a bunch of records for free like last summer, and I grabbed one just because the cover was cool. It had it was his band, the Return to Forever Romantic Warrior LP.
That's a classic.
And it's got like a big knight on the front. I grabbed it and I listened to it and I was like, this is really weird, but I kind of like it because it kind of sounds like old RPG video game music.
Yup.
So, but I really latched on to like the guitar playing on it, and I looked who played guitar. It was Al Di Melita, and then I looked up this album, and this album's like a really cool, like has some like heavy rock moments, but it's like fusion and like hard rock a little bit, but really interesting stuff. And the guitar playing on it is just insane. It's just insane. And then I latched onto that record, but I kept seeing his records at the thrift store. So I ended up grabbing like a ton of his records. Because they were like $1 a piece. And I was just like, I'm just going to, I know that guy. And they were like $1 a piece. So I'm like, look, I'll just grab them all. Why not? Just grab whatever ones I find. And actually, like most of them are pretty good, but they do go more into the jazz fusion part. But all the guitar playing is like stellar on this stuff.
He's a shredder.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I feel like when any of the fusion stuff, like also I also latched on to, Manavishnu Orchestra and stuff like that too, because that's all shred guitar playing stuff too. So I figured out that I do like jazz fusion a little bit, and it's all like the shred guitar playing stuff. But yeah, this record is his best one. I think it's his first one that he did solo.
I was going to say, as you go through it, probably gets diminishing returns as you go forward. But
this is the most like rock sounding record that he has by far. And then like he goes a little more into like the Latin guitar playing and stuff like that, flamenco stuff. But it's all really good still. And I don't know. I've been listening to that one a ton, and I've been listening to him for like the last since I bought that other record, and I was finding those at thrift stores. I just pop them on, and I'm listening to Al Di Malia a ton, and nice. I never thought that would happen. Yeah. It's like one of those weird things when you get older, you start listening to like weirder stuff that you like probably would never think. Like if I was in my 20s and I heard this, I would have been like, "This is bullshit." Threw it to the side.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, there was a whole group of these fucking whackers that were into Al Di Meola, and nothing else, and the Mahavishnu Orchestra and stuff. And we were just like, shut the fuck up, right? Because we're listening to like punk and metal and stuff.
Yeah.
But over the years, I've amassed. I have a stack of Al Di Meola records and some Mahavishnu records, and if they're ones you don't have, I will send them to you. They're yours.
That's awesome. I'll take any of them, really.
Super talented guy, not my thing, and it just reminds me of that group of whackers.
God, yeah, dude, I can see that for sure.
Question from the host: what is a whacker?
They're just like uppity. They're not quite low on the totem enough to be like. They're kind of like drama class music people. Like they play guitar and they act like they're the only fucking people that have ever touched a guitar, and it's like, I skipped House of the Rising Sun, I'll have you know, like that kind of shit. Right.
Yeah, but
usually had the little rectangular strip of hair under the chin, the kind of guys that wouldn't change in front of you in gym class. Those guys. Yeah. That was them.
All right. Well, you learn something every new on this program.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm the
like
one
Birds of Fire myself. I don't know.
Program, I guess. So.
And with that, I'm grabbing a beer. So.
All right. All right. Let's show some messages before he gets back. Yeah, that's a good one. The Internal Rot.
Yeah. Australian grind, I believe. Real good shit.
Oh, that was quick. Jesus. All right. Nice.
Right beside me.
There you go. The box of beer. All right. I'm going to talk about a record that everyone's talking about.
My box is empty, actually. If I get another beer, I'm going to have to go upstairs.
Blasphemy.
Yes.
Archgoat.
You guys like the Dave Matthews Band, right?
Love him.
My favorite.
I've actually
never
heard them. I'm just putting out there. But he has a record label, apparently, which I didn't know. And the only reason I know he has a record label is he just put out a good record. And I bought that record. And I've been playing that record. And it's an Australian band. Just come out. It's the Civic.
Oh.
Civic. Okay. Taken by Force album. Produced by Rob Younger of Radio Birdman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you get here. It's just like a younger band doing that 70s Australian punk thing. Celibate Rifles, Radio Birdman, the Stooges in there, the Saints.
Yeah.
This record, it's getting a lot of hype. It's like the first thing is like a review in the Guardian and all this kind. They're almost like already too popular, like for our like demographic. Do you know what I mean? One of those kind of bands. But this is a great record. If you like the old like 70s Australian punk, they completely nail that sound. I guess the guy out of Eddy Current Suppression Ring is involved with this in some way. Yeah, Australian punk record. You know, old Australian punk record already had like a foot in the 60s anyway, right? So you've got like the 70s kind of sounding music, which had a foot in the 60s, being done by young kids in like 2023, but they do it really well.
Put out by the guy from Dave Matthews.
Put out by the guy from Dave Matthews himself.
Yeah, that's weird. Of course,
Henry Rollins is a big fan. It's reviewed in The Guardian. They're already kind of getting a lot of buzz about this record. You know, people that don't normally listen to punk are kind of are aware of this record, right? Because of the hype that it's getting. But it's a good record, you know. If you like that,
it looks cool, and judging by your description, it fucking rips.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, all the songs are great. Just top notch.
I heard a few tracks off it the other day. It was really good.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up when I can.
Yeah, I mean, they've got another record out. I haven't heard it. This is the second out. I assume this is a little bit more polished than the first one. Yeah, just a great, really enjoyable Australian punk record from in that like 1970s style. Yeah, Civic, Taken by Force.
Interesting.
By Dave Matthews on his label.
I'm hoping John Popper from Blues Travelers' Power Violence label takes off soon.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. The new band Harmonica Ass. He'll be all over.
Yeah. I see a
Harmonica is the bastard.
That's right. Yeah.
Is Dave Matthews a whacker, or is he? I don't know.
That's a good question.
No.
He's sub-whacker.
Sub-whacker.
Yeah. You know, the only thing I don't know, I've never heard Dave Matthews' music, but the only thing I know about him is that he got involved in a lawsuit where his it was either his tour bus or some private jet actually dumped the contents of the toilet out, and it actually like fucked somebody up. It caused like some kind of accident or something, and
because
people got into.
Right?
Whoa.
Yeah, I think it was out of a plane, and it was like frozen, and it like hit a car or something when they dumped it out of the plane. Like just bad luck on the part of those people, right?
Damn.
But
yeah, that actually caused death. Imagine going out that way.
That would be. Well, I mean, you make the paper. That's kind of cool. Like, it's not normal.
Yeah, but like killed by Dave Matthews frozen shit is not the way I want it to.
Yeah.
Not the best way to go. Not the best way. No. Not what I would have chosen.
Not, but... All right. I guess I'm up. Right. I'm switching gears completely. We're going to the metal portion of this program.
All right.
We're going to talk some Belgian metal from 1984.
Oh.
Okay.
You know what it is? No. What's that?
Does it have a pink cover?
No.
Oh.
Not at all. It's got a ridiculous cover actually. But it's Black Widow, Streetfighter.
Nice.
I love this record. But just take in that cover. It's a guy with a what is it? It's a Stahlhelm, I think it's called, the German war helmet. He's got a BMX outfitted to look like a motorcycle, and he's got a chain hooked up to some lady of the night. But this is great. It's got Judas Priest written all over it. It's kind of like if you mix Judas Priest and Accept, but at their most speed metally. But there's also like a heavy punk like undercurrent running through the whole thing. And the singer, he revs it right up, and he's kind of over the top. He sounds like if Rob Halford got out of bed in the middle of the night to take a piss and stepped on a Lego when he had bare feet. That's what his vocals sound like. It's just that mix of outrage and betrayal. And it's so over the top. It's awesome. There's one shit ballad here. You know, it is what it is. It's a great record. I've always loved it, and no one else ever gives it its due. So yeah, and the weird thing with this is they did a demo in '83, did this record in '84. I think they split up. They got back together in the early 2000s, and they're still playing shows now, but they've never released another record.
Wow.
Which is so like I thought they were a studio band for a long time until I did a little research and found out they have like a Facebook page with their booking information on it. So I don't know. You'd think they'd want to do another record, but maybe they're living off the glory of this thing, since 1984. Yeah, I don't know.
The royalties.
He's
Nothing wrong with that.
It's on the back now. He switched out the lady of the night with some shitty band members with bad mullet afros. It's great. Yeah, if you never heard this and you're just into just traditional heavy metal, like with a huge Judas Priest band, that's the record to get.
Count me in.
That shit's right up my alley.
No, me too. I'm sold. I'm sold.
Totally up my alley.
Yeah, it's great right now.
My brain has been so corrupted by YouTube and like just destroyed by the type of stuff I've been consuming for the past 10 years or so, where I'm like, has chromium dioxide talked about that? He has, right? Aaron, the metal theologian.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I've talked about it on my channel. I know that.
It's at the point where I'm like, that's just AI generated to have one of those guys show off that record. I don't even know anymore.
I've always loved the cover of that record, and I had it as a kid. I got it on cassette first, and then I saw the LP, and that's the LP that I got in 1984. And I've kept it all these years, and I've just always, it's just so over the top, and just there's just enough of a mix of punk and metal. There's also kind of maybe like a Raven in there, the whole athletic rock thing. It's like the singer from Raven, if he was all fucked up on cough syrup or something. Yeah, it's super good.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Come on.
I can't imagine it being expensive, so yeah.
Wow.
The BMX bike dressed up to look like a motorcycle is the best part.
It's the icing on the cake.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Kids right there.
Yeah, and you look at photos of him, and the singer's literally like 4 foot nothing. He's just a little fella, so he's got a big voice for such a little fella. Yeah.
Hey, like Udo, right? Udo.
Budget bin Ronnie James.
Yeah.
Short games. We're out here.
Kind of looks like he looks like a little action figure with his German helmet on and his chain and his BMX. I would totally buy that.
Oh, me too. It's gone on the list. But Belgium, acid, killer, like that.
Killer.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Killer. Yeah, Jason Skills is asking if it had a Canadian release. That is a Canadian one. It's on Attic. So
okay, nice.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Well, this is not going to be nearly as lol worthy, but
good luck.
Moving across over from Belgium to Holland, I've been revisiting a bunch of Asphyx lately. Just checking out like their earlier records, their later records. These long-running death metal bands, I'm like, holy, how many records did you guys put out? Because I know the early Asphyx records, The Rack and Last One on Earth, they're both really good.
Yeah.
Have like these like slower, doomy passages, very fucking heavy. Martin Van Drunen, who is formerly of Pestilence, great like hollow lich, like these really dry death metal vocals that are very singular. He kind of pioneered a style, and then they released a whole bunch of records throughout the 90s into the 2000s, and then had a lull, and then came back in the late 2000s, in the late aughts, and have kept on since and have put out pretty good records. This record was one, which is self-titled, is after Drunen left. And it's one of the reasons, like when I was getting out of death metal, like my senior year of high school, a lot of death metal was that was coming out was kind of disappointing me. And I was like, all right, I'm getting into other shit now, old hardcore and goth and stuff. I got Morbid Angel's Domination, a couple other records. And I was like, these all suck. This is boring. I've gone back and visited these as I've gotten back into this music in the past like 10, 15 years a lot. This is a revisit for me where I was like, is this as like soul drainingly boring as I remember it? Not as. It's got some really, really good riffs, but it does meander a lot. Like I'm not going to pick this over the first two albums, which are fucking great, or the newer records. But and the vocalist is fine, but there's a lot of parts where I'm like, what is this riff for? Why is this here? Like that kind of thing. But I wanted to get this again because of this and like Domination. There's a few others like Napalm Death, Fear, Emptiness, Despair, which I hated when it came out. I love it now.
Oh yes, yes.
but I just didn't get it at the time because I was like looking for something new because I was young, you know. But yeah, this is fine. It's got some really good riffs, but there's not going to be anything you get on here that you're not going to get on the first two records or the later records, like in a better way. So, and this vocalist is fine, but he's no Martin Venter. So.
Yeah, that guy Martin's kind of a top tier death metal vocalist for sure. Ooh, self-titled Asphyx. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, it's like 95 or something like that. I think it's the one that came out after Last One on Earth. I think it's like the third or fourth, something like that.
They've got so many records; it's hard to keep up with which one.
It's tough.
Yeah,
like
they have a record from 2000
yeah.
that's really good called "On the Wings of Inferno," and it's the opposite of that. It's like their Rain in Blood. It's like 29 minutes long, and it's just like. And it came out in 2000. Which was not a year for like raw in your face, you know, everything was either orchestral black metal or super brutal, like, you know, overproduced death metal. It's just, it's like raw, pissed death metal.
I remember like early 2000s was not the time. Like you had like aborted stuff coming out and like, just like that, like, like you said, like overproduced, crappy death metal coming out, and it was not, there was a lot of not good stuff.
Yeah, and that On the Wings of the Inferno record, I mean, I don't know what they were like. It has the production, like it doesn't have the typewriter sounding drums or anything. Like it's super raw, in your face, like quick. It's like an 89 era death metal record released in 2000. I don't know if anybody gave a shit about it, but that was the other one that I bought recently. I'm like, I'm gonna buy this one. It's $10 on Amazon. Let's go. But yeah, that one's definitely worth a listen. So,
all right, cool. Wow, I did not know this. Here we go.
He was.
There we go.
Yep. He did. He was with them for a year or two or something like that. He played a bunch of shows.
Wow. There you go. All right, Clifford, what's your next pick of them?
All right, I'm gonna stick with the heavy metal stick going on right now. And this was one that I planned on showing the whole time, but the new Shadowland, the Necromancer's Castle. Shadowland, they're a traditional heavy metal band. They're all younger. We've had these guys. I do a podcast. It's the Daily Metal Podcast, and I do that. We do it like it's called Daily Metal. We do it like every 2 weeks or so.
Fortnightly
makes perfect
metal.
sense.
Well, I do a Facebook group that's called Daily Metal where I post a metal thing every day. But this band has been on our podcast twice, and they're really cool people. And I wanted to like show people that this band is awesome. They sound basically like new wave of British heavy metal. They're like that good mix of like hard rock and heavy metal, and like early Judas Priest meets like Saxon and all that stuff that you like from that genre, that year, or that like part of heavy, like traditional heavy metal stuff. And they put all that in there, and they have a female singer. She's a great artist too. I wanted to put this in there because I just recently got this, and this was one of my favorite albums from 2021. And I just recently picked up their album, and I've been listening to it a ton. Just really good, like I said, traditional heavy metal stuff. They're from New York. I think that Tanya, the singer, moved to Portland recently, but they're still doing stuff, and they're planning on putting out more stuff and stuff like that. So really cool band to check out. But they really do. They really capture that like vibe of like older heavy metal, but they're a bunch of young people playing older, like people in the 20s, like 20s and 30s playing really good heavy metal stuff. So I wanted to kind of like bring attention to like newer bands that are doing really cool stuff. You know, but it's great stuff. All the songs on here, like I think it's a perfect album because they've got the Necromancer's Castle. Walking in Shadows, a great song. Easy Living's awesome song. So seriously, check them out if you get a chance.
There's not a way,
And they're on
any possible way that a song called.
What's that?
There's not any possible way that a song called "Easy Living" could be bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not the Uriah Heep cover, though, right?
Yeah. I asked them
or the
about that
Fast
on
Way
one
one?
podcast.
Fast Way, yes, Fast Way.
I actually asked them if the Easy Living song was based off the Uriah Heep song, and they said no, but that's a good question. I didn't realize that
Oh, right.
because they're all younger.
Great
guys,
Uriah Heep
so
song.
they don't know it, but
They might not have heard it, yeah. Man, that whole like new wave of traditional heavy metal, there's so much out there, and I do try and keep
Yeah.
up with it on YouTube and stuff, on the channels and stuff.
it is.
There's a lot to delve into in
There's
that area.
There's so much of it.
Yeah.
But they're one of the ones that I feel like actually like if you told me that band came out in like 1983, I would be like, yeah, of course they did. You know what I mean? It's like one of those bands where they really capture the feeling of it. They don't just like kind of like say, oh, we sound like an 80s metal band, but it's all modern production and like
Nice.
not great. And it's on No Remorse Records, which
All right.
No Remorse Records, they signed them after like a 7-inch. They signed them and they put out their first LP. So I thought that was pretty cool because No Remorse did like Eternal Champion, who's in my background right now, and I love that fucking band.
Yeah.
That band, I should have brought that band on because that band's been playing like I've just left that CD in my car for like the last 2 weeks. It's just been in my car playing in the background.
Both their albums are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're on the same label as that band, and that's why I was like, I have to get it. And I've been meaning to pick this up forever. And I feel bad because it took me so long because we had them on the podcast twice, and I've talked to the people in the band before, and they're cool people. So
nice. All right. Ooh, it's the last go around the sun. I'm going to do my short, sharp shock, and it's going to be short. It's going to be sharp. It's going to not be that shocking, but maybe. Actually, I was shocked actually when I looked this up like this morning a little bit, and there were some really bad reviews of it. And I was like, Jesus, what are you guys talking about? This is a great record. Everybody's always wanted to hear like a bunch of like British like crusties who grew up on like Bolt Thrower and Napalm Death doing like the Cleveland sound, you know, like the ringworm.
Yes.
Everybody wants to hear that, right?
I do.
Yeah, of course they do. And your dreams come true on this show because Frightener.
I don't know that one.
I'll be buying that immediately.
There you go.
Yeah.
Came out in 2006. It's still cheap on Discogs. I checked. Like nobody cares about this record. They should care. They will care. You will care
Eventually
because it's a great record. It came out on like A389 recordings.
Okay. There's a lot of hidden gems on that label.
Baltimore
label. Like in Ringworm, Integrity, Gehenna, Full of Hell, and even like Chokehold and Haymaker they put out back in the early days.
Yeah, Dom is a passionate dude who's reissued just everything he's loved, and like especially with Chokehold, Ringworm, all that stuff like really needed to be reissued because it was long out of print. And
he's from here in Ontario originally.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he is. Yeah, I always forget about that, but he's been in Baltimore.
He's from
years.
Milton. He's from Milton, which is Toronto's like shitty cousin.
I didn't know anything about that label till I moved to Baltimore like 8 years ago, and
I'm so glad that he's back at it because he does such a good job.
I just say I think this is like an overlooked one in his like catalog, but I love this record. It's like a London band, maybe like younger guys. It's like crosses like Bolt Thrower and Napalm Death with like Integrity and Gehenna and Ringworm. And
why do I not know about that?
Well, I mean, I didn't. I just bought it. It was in the cheap bins, and I just bought it with not knowing a thing about the band or the record. I knew the label, so yeah, it should be pretty good. It's on this label, should be pretty good. Yeah, brutal. It's like all the adjectives that describe brutality. Bring them out. Pick your own ones. I'm not going to say more.
Is it disgusting?
It's pretty disgusting. It also has like a little bit of that sludgy feel to it, like a brain oil or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Going on in there as well. I don't know. I think this is a great record. It's still cheap and from 2006.
I'm gonna buy the shit out of
There
that.
you go.
Frightener.
And the album's called Guillotine. That's what the album's called. Frightener.
Awesome.
Guillotine.
Hard name.
Very, very hard, but easy to find.
All right.
That's my gift to you all today. It's easy to find
I've
record.
heard of that band, but I've never heard them. I've seen that record and I never picked it up.
Oh, really? I think it's like just a one and done.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had any other records out or anything, but like,
There's so many black and white covers like that it's like, is this going to be a good one or a dud? I don't know.
True.
Like, surely, like the members must have played in some other UKHC kind of bands. Like
I haven't checked. If anyone knows, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if any of them were on any like quality control bands or anything like that later.
It's this is like from 2006, so
yeah,
I'm not sure. We'll check it out. If anyone knows, let us know in the comments. But there you go, Frightener. I think they're a London band. So there you go. All right, Mike, what's your last pick of the day?
Yep.
All
I'm going to end this on a small note because I'm going to show a 7-inch.
Oh, there you go.
It's metal. It's new wave of British heavy metal. It's a band from 1981. They're from Bristol in the UK.
Oh, can I guess? No, that's bad, right? I'm guessing, but I'm keeping it in here.
Okay. It's on Caveman Records.
Oh, then
it's False Idols. 10 Seconds to Midnight. This is awesome. I bought it blind. It's kind of it's not cheap. It's not crazy. It's not like bank officer or whatever for a loan. It's just it's so good. What this is it's melodic new wave of British heavy metal kind of stuff, but it sounds like it's not very flashy. And it almost sounds like if you had one of the more musically accomplished, like late 70s British punk bands, like maybe something like the Adverts, where they were a lot more tight than most, band like that, doing new wave of British heavy metal. Because it's like they're they don't go very, they play within their threshold. They don't try and go beyond their means. Right. And it just made two really, really good songs. It's a one and done. They were on a compilation, but it was just one of these tracks. The bass player, I wrote his name, Steve Kershaw. Apparently, he's kind of a big deal in the jazz world, but he's also a lecturer of Greek mythology at Oxford.
Wow.
But then again, aren't we all?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is awesome. And there's no photos in the record itself, but there's two photos that exist online. One, they look like a bunch of fancy lads that are going out for a nice soul dinner. The other one, they look like a post-apocalyptic breakdance crew. And they're wearing like DSB style full leather things with lots of extra straps that go nowhere and shit like that. But yeah, this record is awesome. I've never heard of it before, and I got it, and it's never left my turntable since.
This is my stuff.
So
I've never heard of it before. Never.
I kind of, there's a recurring theme, I guess, because like with that Black Widow record too, it's very punk heavy metal. And it's like, this just sounds like an attempt at new wave of British heavy metal done by like a late 70s British punk band. Yeah.
There's a
bunch of those bands. Took me off guard totally.
There's a bunch of those bands from there, like Overdose, who had some like English Dogs connection. Yeah. There's like a whole bunch of that stuff.
Yeah.
This one's just by the punk scene.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very dumbed down as far as metal goes, and I'm sure the other metal bands of the day were probably like, regulating them to like, the washroom kind of thing. But they, that's a great record.
Mike, do you know what compilation album that's those?
I'm gonna run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do the same since he is.
So
they're both going to see False Idols because they were in there. They were banished by the other new wave of British heavy metal bands. But no, it was a. I think it might have actually even just been a compilation cassette.
Okay.
But I could barely find anything out about that band. And then I found out the thing about Steve Kershaw, and I'm like, I don't know shit about jazz, but apparently he's kind of an accomplished jazz guy. But then he's also a lecturer of Greek mythology at Oxford, which is bizarre. But that's such a good record.
1 7-inch, in like 79 or 80. That's one I've never heard of. Before. That's amazing. Wow.
And that's what I've been focused on, stuff like that for the last while, just buying those, because I figure, you know, I could spend a whole bunch of money on like new records, but I'd rather buy some old stuff that kind of fills holes, right?
Is that how you came across that Ethel the Frog record, or was that one you had like already?
No, I had heard of that because I'd heard the song "Fight Back" because it's on one of those
right?
new wave of British heavy metal comps. Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah.
But no, I ended up just finding that at like a local record show.
Right.
It was just in somebody's metal bin, and I grabbed it.
Such a weird record. I love it personally, but it's like that Eleanor Rigby, starting off with the Eleanor Rigby cover, and then like,
yeah,
it's a weird record.
Weird choice.
Weird choice.
Yeah. But I'll try and pick up like that era of metal, like especially the singles. I've got a fair amount of them. There's some I want, but I can't really afford, right? But yeah, there's some good ones. But that one just took me off guard.
When you said Bristol, I thought you were going to say Jaguar and Axxe Crazy.
Oh, yeah. I don't have that one.
That's from Bristol.
Is it?
From the same era, yes. Yeah.
That's an excellent.
Well, I know I'd seen you mention Bristol before on other streams, so I figured you might have a shot at knowing it, but it's just such an obscure band, right?
Yeah, it's the first time for me, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's from 1981. It's on Caveman Records. I think it's the only release on that label. But yeah, you see a picture of them. It's hilarious. So
all right, I'll look it up.
Well,
am I allowed to go to the bathroom as the host of the
yeah,
show?
you are. We're all drinking beer.
Any one of you can hold the fort. I'll be back.
I'm going to wait till you're back until
I'll
we'll talk
sit in silence. No.
We'll talk about something else.
All right. I'll be back.
We'll just
we're going to do a 3-way a cappella version of Silence.
It's got a really nice checkerboard bathroom floor in there. I noticed the tiling is very, very nice.
Can't go wrong with a checkerboard bathroom.
Nope.
Yeah, I think that's like going to be a new discussion because I think people have been obsessed with the crossover idea and thinking that it started in the mid 80s, whereas like there were bands that didn't get anywhere that were doing that. I mean, obviously you had the Plasmatics and Motorhead and stuff, like going back to the 70s or whatever. But all these bands that kind of sprung up out of the new wave of British heavy metal thing.
Oh, yeah.
And people that were just there. I think there were also the music industry was very different there. And like people were expecting to make it big by just trying whatever was hot and maybe have accidentally tried to do both at the same time, you know? So, I mean, it's interesting to see what gets vomited in that same bathroom.
Yeah, well, there's a ton of stuff that's like that like crossover, like kind of like metal punk stuff is like all kind of like a bunch of my favorite stuff. So it's
I mean, I being a person that like loves both sides of the spectrum, ranging from the aforementioned Plasmatics and Motorhead and all kinds of other shit like that, all the way up to Venom. Well, I mean, I'm talking into the 90s when New York hardcore bands like that band Confusion is getting a discography reissue, and they were like, you know, like Breakdown 87 demo, CBGB's Sunday Matinee dudes that were into death metal. But a really, really early, that became a commonplace thing later, but like a really early version of that, like early 90s, we're talking 91, 92. Like stuff like that is really fascinating. The East Coast Assault comps, like that kind of shit. So anyway, just burning a little time here, Mike. It's funny that you mentioned my last selection for this evening is a band called Axxe Crazy, but it's not the one you were talking about.
Oh, wow.
It's Axxe Crazy with 2 X's.
Damn.
This is
I don't know what this is.
the other roach leg thing that I spun today. It's a tape.
Okay.
It's stenchcore. It's really well done, modern stenchcore. It's super raw, huge nods to all the originators and everything. I listened to the Grind the Enemy demo right after this. It's not a worship of that, but you can tell that it's inspired by that kind of stuff, like loud, springy kind of bass noise and a lot of like, this is a thrash metal riff, but we're drunk, like kind of stuff. Honoring Deviated Instinct and Axe Grinder, all that kind of shit. Early Bolt Thrower, of course. I do not know where these folks are from. I don't know if they're American or from elsewhere. Roachleg just dropped like 3 or 4 things, and I got everything that they just came out with. But this is pretty long. I mean, it's like a 8 or 9. It's hard to small type, and I'm blind these days. 9 song tape. It looks like.
Okay.
Cool. Like,
Wow. Did you already have that picked out to show?
Yeah, I had it picked out. So
And then
I grabbed it. It's the last thing I listened to before getting ready to stream with you guys. So
Wow.
it's second to last because I listened to Axe Grinder right after that.
Yeah. Wow.
It's good.
I didn't know that one, but
Me neither.
it's a newer band, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. I think it's the first. I think first thing they've put out. I do not know where they're from. Roachleg out of New York put it out. They're probably an American band, but I'm not sure. Roachleg's released a lot of good stuff, so I'm not 100% on that. I didn't research it.
I keep up with Roachleg a little bit because they put out that Poison Ruin. I've been like all about Poison Ruin, but they put out that Poison Ruin 7-inch, and I've been kind of keeping up, trying to like just check out what they've done, what they've been putting out since.
They put out a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed they do put out some good stuff.
Pretty prolific. Like they do a lot.
All right, Clifford, bring it on home.
I'm going to stick with the metal punk stuff. This is White Pigs, Songs of Sin. Really good stuff. Yeah, they did their earlier 7-inch was more like straightforward hardcore. This is like
Connecticut.
I don't know where they're from. I don't remember.
Yeah, they're from Connecticut. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, Walk the Fire Records is from where the record label's from is Chicago, Illinois. Maybe they're from Connecticut. I have no idea.
Through Fire Records power like stuff like Life Sentence and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but this is really cool. Like it honestly, it sounds a lot like Venom. It sounds like Venom, and in my brain, I don't know why, but it sounds like Venom and the Dead Boys mixed together. It's like snottier Venom, kind of, in the way I hear it.
I can see that.
Me, but that's just how I hear it. And this LP it freaking rules. It's like it's got the lyrics are like just serious enough. They're like kind of not serious, but kind of, and just the music's like straightforward, like metal punk stuff. So really good stuff. I picked this up from eBay recently, and I was like, I paid the money for it, and I was upset because like I don't get super upset, but it's got some water damage stuff on the cover. Yeah. See how it's all curly like that? That shit gets on my nerves.
Nobody can see that.
It was pretty cheap, and I know that I got it for like $12, I think. I think I paid $12 for this on eBay plus shipping. So whatever the shipping was. But the record's in like perfect condition. But I've been listening to that a ton because I'm a big metal punk is like one of the genres I go to. And that fits right in there. And I've been listening to this a ton. I listened to it today, actually.
Yeah, that's
a great cover.
Yeah,
that's a real like blast from the past for me. I haven't listened to that for a long time, but it was an old favorite. Yeah,
and yeah, it's got like the classic like pig thing. That's like the cover. That was like their thing.
That's the cover of their 7-inch, I believe. Is that cop pig or punk pig thing or whatever it is?
Wow.
Yeah, but they're definitely one where they like. I think if I remember correctly, I only listened to the 7-inch on YouTube because I can't afford to buy one. So type of deal. So when this popped up for cheap, I bought it. And like I said, it was all like water damage, and they didn't write that in the description or anything. I was just like, I'm just going to buy it. And I also bought like with that, I got like the crossover crossover SSD releases, SSD control releases. I got both those crossover records. And they were both like $12, $15 a piece too.
I'm glad you chose the white pig.
You were fucking robbed.
That's the best one. That's the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
The one was okay. The other one I wasn't a fan of.
I haven't gone back to those in years, but you got to bear in mind, like I moved to Boston in the late 90s. So every cutout bin that I saw was copies of Break It Up and How We Rock, like as far as the eye can see. And other people around my specific age might remember it. People that were in smaller, either rural or smaller cities or suburban areas where you didn't have access to anything other than mall record stores that were chains. You could get the SSD best of on Tang called Power that had the jams. I think it had Boiling Point, Glue, all that kind of stuff. But all 4 album songs were mixed up. So it would be like...
Yes. It was all fucked up, right? The sequencing was all messed up.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it would have worked with a band that had like 4 awesome records, but like with a band that had like 2, like fundamental, important hardcore records, and then 2 like records that weren't that, it doesn't work as well. You'd have like, a song like Glue or whatever, followed by like Baby Black with Springer being like, yeah, like, like, and don't get me wrong, like I like their influences. I love AC/DC and stuff, but kind of notoriously they could not really pull off those influences very well. And I always want to go back to those records because I'm always kind of like, well, maybe there was something I was missing.
Yeah, maybe you'll like it now.
Like I listened to some Straw Dogs stuff. I have a Straw Dogs record that's like the post.
That's another
band.
Record I got from the same seller. I got that one Straw Dogs record.
Like it's fine. $7.
I don't mind Straw Dogs, but I prefer the Straw Dogs to like that later era SSD for sure.
Yeah.
I remember being so disappointed when I got Straw Dogs the first time. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Same with like Mallet Head. It's like, really?
Mallet Head.
Yeah, those Mallet Head records aren't good.
Yeah, no, Mallet Head is a no-go. That's
as soon as I played it, I was like, I'm gonna go sit in the bathtub with like a toaster oven on my lap and just end it all. I can't deal with Mallet Head anymore. The hell with this shit.
I just need to softly cry myself to sleep right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. On that note of Mike getting into the bath with a toaster. Hey, I don't usually need to do this.
Records I just bought from eBay, which makes me sad.
Don't worry, you'll survive. You'll survive this. You'll be a stronger person for it. Guys, what have you got coming up? Mike, anything coming up on the channel?
Celebrity Euchre tournament. We're gonna taste test different kinds of expired milk, and I'll probably talk about new records on my next one.
Lovely stuff.
I'll be doing a extreme snooker, which involves series of elbow drops woven into traditional snooker. I'm really looking forward to this new. And also keeping on with the Mondays. I've got my friend John from Syracuse, who's been a big mover and shaker in that town that books bands and does a radio show and plays in bands. Really, really cool guy. And then the week after that, I have Melanie from Melanie Loves Death Metal on. And
cool.
Her channel's awesome. She's great. So that's what I'm doing. Still doing the Monday streaming stuff. Don't have any other plans other than that right now. Probably will do some cool videos when I think of anything interesting to talk about. Or I might just ramble about records like I always do.
That's what you got to do, right?
This is what I do, It's all good.
That's
Clifford,
that's
what you got?
why we watch your channel, because you ramble.
Daily Metal. Anything coming up in the next year?
Daily Metal. Actually, we just put out a very. It was like we called it the easygoing power violence podcast. So what it was we bullshit about power violence a little bit, but then we also like talked about other stuff because it's people that I've known for a long time. So we kind of just hung out and talked and pulled up some power violence stuff that we liked. And then it's streaming on Spotify. So check it out.
All right.
Daily Metal Podcast. And I do my YouTube video every Friday drinking music. So check that out. It's usually my stuff I've picked up or something that I want to showcase in the week. And that's also very relaxed. I don't do any editing. I just go hey, here's what I bought.
Yeah, that's
Check
the
it
way to do
out. So,
All right. Next week. Oh, what's that?
I looked this up because I was like, that's just such a cool like 80s
Yeah,
this
the white
punk pig. You
it
can't really see
is.
the stippling on this is fantastic.
Great stippling and great crackling, maybe.
I love a good stipple.
There you go.
I'm a sucker for a good stipple.
Yes.
Stipple
Have you
threat.
stippled a waka recently?
Yeah. Tied right in there.
All right. So, hey, no episode next week. That's a weird thing. I'm going to Sapporo. I'm going up to Sapporo for the weekend. Going to be out of town. Checking out some hard rock bars in like Sapporo. I might make a video of that. Could be cool. But we'll be back on March 31st, 10 p.m. EDT. Brian Drop Dead's coming back. He might tell us a bit about the Napalm Death Tour, maybe. Nate Wilson and Big Jim Martin. Classic trio. So, see you next time. March 31st, 10 p.m. EDT. Thanks for coming on, everyone. Great episode, as usual. Got a lot of laughs.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Happy birthday, Mike.
I'm out of beer. God damn it.
Until next time,
That.
stay healthy and stay